Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You are so welcome here. I have a pretty specific message today, and the seagulls are also, I don't know if you can hear that, there's seagulls cawing outside. I have a feeling that my Virgos are going to love this reading, or anybody who has strong 6th house energy, because what is coming through, what is coming up today is such like in your guys' sphere, like it's so in that energy. And I feel like there's these sort of interesting, almost like counter energies here. Oh my God, are you serious with the itchy nose immediately? There's these almost interesting sort of counter opposing energy. Like it's like there's two different ways of approaching this same energy, and I'm going to do my best to bring it all, like maybe not bring it all full circle, but like encompass all of the energies that I'm feeling within this one overarching theme that is coming forward and presenting pretty strongly today. So aside from just like things that were coming to me when I was driving earlier, I decided to pull some cards first, and it was just like quite clear and cohesive, the energy and the blueprint for the day that was coming through. The first thing was octopus. And what I'm noticing about this card specifically is that I guess even though, like, I feel like there's two different things that octopi are well known for, octopuses. I feel like there's multiple words for a plural of octopus. But anyway, on this card, it kind of highlights the two aspects that octopods are known for. The first being like all of this energy up here in the mental sphere. They're known for being clever, intelligent. You can teach them things. I watched a video the other day of a man who taught this little octopus to like play the piano. So, and then the other thing is obviously like the tentacles. They're known, okay? They have 8 tentacles. They're known for the tentacles, and also for being very intelligent. And so it's almost like these two different opposing sort of intelligences that exist within this creature. And this card specifically talks on, I won't touch on the relationship aspect of the card, but it applies there too. The concept of reaching, the concept of entanglement, the concept of yearning and like reaching and like trying to get something, trying to get somewhere, trying to like intertwine with something. What were the words? The words were reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries, and direction. And how this sort of is playing into the 6th house Virgo energy that I was feeling. I actually looked it up. I was like, I wonder. And I looked it up, and the moon is in Virgo right now as of when I'm filming this right now. So like, what are the chances? I just love it when a plan comes together. That was huge confirmation for me that this message is timely, that this message needs to reach the people that it needs to reach, like right now in this moment. So with that being said, the reason why I'm feeling the 6th house energy is there's something here about one being like almost frazzled and kind of like scatterbrained. There's this scatterbrained energy, this feeling of going into a room and you forgot what you went in there for, which is actually such an amazing, incredible phenomenon. It's like how humans and their memory works. We compartmentalize. That's why people use memory like palaces to remember specific events and like sequences and things like that. But regardless, it's like an actual phenomenon that happens where you form a memory or like an association, and you literally leave it in that space, in that room. So like sometimes you'll be like, oh yeah, I need to go and get that thing. And you walk into the room where you're going to get it, and you literally forget what it was that you went in there for. And you have to go back into the room that you thought about getting the thing to go back and retrieve your memory from that room and be in that place. That is wild to me. Anyway, that's the scatterbrain energy is getting me too. There's so many different like mental sinkholes here in this space. And coming back to the octopus, it's like you're used to living in this mental energy. You're used to enacting from this mental energy. And also it's the added pressure of this time of year being the time of year where we, sharpen up our act, where we plan for the future. Like people are thinking about like Q1, Q2, Q3, like there's this sort of logistical planning that's going on. There's this upsurge in like enacting your dreams, like planning out your goals, thinking about what you need to be doing for the year, like where do you need to maneuver your energy, like confirmation, where do you want to go? And at the same time, it's coming in with this current present reality that we are sitting in of like, I can't think straight, I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Like you like go to sit down and write down a list and you're just like, literally you're halfway through the list and you've noticed that like you're not even sitting there writing the list anymore. Suddenly you're over there and you're doing the dishes and you're like, how did I get here? Wasn't I just doing that before? So it's like, it's very possible that you're in a space of mental fatigue. It's very possible that you have like frenetic energy, or low energy is also very possible. Your body might be feeling very exhausted. Your brain and your like mental processes might also at the same time be feeling very exhausted. You might be feeling extremely hyperactive in the dream spaces. Or it might be crickets. You might go to sleep and like black out and then wake up again. All of these are so like, they all exist within this same sphere, under the same umbrella. And there's something here around the reason why the mental spheres are so clogged at this time, or so foggy, or like it's not like braining the way that you want it to be braining. It's so divinely timed for you to become more acquainted with the other realms and the other intelligences that are now you're becoming more au fait with, you're becoming more comfortable with, you are learning to embody, whatever that means to you. You're learning to be in your body. You're learning to communicate with your body. You're opening a clear channel of communication between you and your physical body. You're opening a clear pathway of communication between you and your emotional body, your breath body, how you feel. There's something really important here about almost coming back to the basics. Like Virgo energy, 6th house energy, this Mercurian energy is so about like what we do on the daily, what are our daily routines, what are our daily habits, and it's also pertaining to health. And it's all about like, less so about these big highfalutin like mental constructs and ideas and plans for the future and visioning and constantly living up here from your head. And it's getting more into the tentacles almost. It's like close your eyes and just let your body like do the seeing for you. And I think it's just so beautiful how this energy has aligned for us with this brain fog, because it's like this divine invitation to just let go of this sphere for a while and go somewhere else where the communication is more clear, and to learn to become more comfortable dwelling somewhere other than in our head constantly. Learn to maneuver through the world in a way that is not mental based. And the 3 like medicine cards that I pulled for like how we're going to work with this energy. The first one that came out is number 13, which was activate strength and life force with ancient Qi and Tibetan copper. The itchy nose. I got stillness, rejuvenation, and soul purpose, number 42. And then this one came out too, just to round it all out, which is kind of harkening back to the 13, and like 3 times 13 is 39. This is number 39, and they have the same like Star of David, the upward facing triangle, the downward facing triangle, which resides at Anahata, where the feminine force ascends, the masculine force descends. Anyway, and then we have this here as rootedness, vitality, manifestation. So I feel like that's a whole lot of information all at once. So let's break it down, because again, 6th house energy, we're breaking things down into manageable, bite-sized chunks, so that we know what the play is here, like what are we supposed to be doing, quote unquote supposed to be. And the advice and the energy here is talking about like activate strength and life force. This to me really just speaks to the vessel, your body, to nourishment, to like basic exercise, to like getting your steps in or doing a walk, or like even just like focusing on the breath to rejuvenate the physical body, oxygenate the vessel, oxygenate the body. There is no separation between like the mental and the physical. Like if your mental is foggy and struggling, it can also be from like burnout and depletion. And there's such a strong burnout depletion, like tandem energy coming in with this energy. And like I want to speak on the rootedness, vitality, manifestation. Speaking on vitality, rootedness, it comes from the vessel, it comes from being grounded in your body, and it comes from giving your body the nourishment that it needs in order to activate that strength and life force. You cannot activate strength and life force from a place of burnout, and nor can you do it from just imagining that you're active. And like you can't just, well, okay, I won't get into that, but you need to also be enacting in the physical realms, not just in the mental realms. And I think this is just like beautifully counterbalanced here with the stillness, rejuvenation, and soul purpose. There is no point in just like taking steps just to take steps. It will get you in a direction, but if you're not pointed in the right direction, then like you're just taking steps needlessly. And so sometimes you need the stillness in order to recenter, come back to home, and realize what direction do you actually want to point your ship in. Okay, we can't just constantly live in the mental sphere and like just rely on that. Like you have to eat 3 meals a day. Okay, you have to drink water. And I'm getting this message coming in as well so strongly. This has been building in volume in my whatever. It's been getting stronger, this message of returning to nourishment, returning to like the basics. In like, I'm trying to make this like the least boring way possible, because there's nothing to me personally, as like a Scorpio 8th house stellium, there's like almost nothing more boring to me than like return to the basics. I want to be in the depths. I want to be in my mind and like in all these other realms. But this is so necessary at this point in time in order to facilitate your depth, in order to facilitate your growth, and in order to facilitate sustainable growth over time. And like, it's like we're in the big leagues now. There's like, we're not playing anymore. This is 2026 now. We've left 2025 behind, okay? We're not victims anymore. We're not in the victim mindset. We're not in the like, oh, poor me, and like the waves keep crashing in. It's like, no, we're done. We are done with that. We've like cut that off completely. And now we're stepping into such another level of embodiment of power. It's like, you really want to be building the foundation in the right place here. We're not building on sand, okay? We're building on stone, or whatever that biblical reference is. We want to be having our strong foundation, and this is not coming from a place of like I don't know, oh my god, here's what it is. Okay, it's coming up. This is a rebalancing of the masculine and feminine aspects within you. And not only that, this is also a rebalancing of the mental and the other realms within you. The mental has taken the forefront to the point where everything else has just been grayed out. The mental is the only thing that is being lit up in this image. And the thing about the octopus is that it does live in the element of water, and the water is a feminine. This is a feminine glyph here that represents water, and the water is a feminine element, okay? So the octopus is like, while it's here in this element of water, it's like almost trying to imagine that it's anywhere else other than where it is. And like, I'm so sorry. But we are a little bit going into that water element now, where we need to nourish self, where we need to figure out a way of maneuvering and working in the world that is not coming from the mental, and nor is it coming from the masculine. There's this feeling that the masculine You are healing the relationship between the masculine and the feminine within you. I'm getting so warm in my body. In the past, the masculine aspect of you, which has always been strong and has always wanted to protect you, has tried to act in your best interests, but it has acted in a way that has made your feminine aspect feel unsafe. The masculine within you has been trying to squish and suppress down the feminine. The feminine has always been there, has always been trying to like bring wisdom, to bring intuition, to bring like messages. Messages is what I'm feeling from the body, messages from the emotional body, messages from realms of yourself that are beyond, and also messages I'm hearing from like ancestral DNA. And ancestral lines. It's like there are things that have tried to activate within you that the masculine or the mental aspect of yourself has tried to repress. And so this feminine voice has almost like gotten quieter and has bided her time and has waited for the perfect for conditions to be favorable, I just heard, so that the feminine has been waiting for the masculine to mature. The feminine has been waiting for the masculine to come to the realization of what it really means to embody masculine power, presence, protection. And the masculine aspect of you has been going through a huge journey and a huge up-leveling. This has lasted your whole life. And I feel at this point, there has been several lessons learned, especially this last year, where the masculine aspect in you has somehow attained this level of maturity where you know how to protect your feminine finally. Your masculine has finally created a space, a vessel for the feminine to rise, and there is a collective rising of the feminine energy. The feminine is rising now. The feminine is coming to the fore. The feminine is coming to lead. The feminine is coming to lead the way now. This is I'm receiving this on many levels, so I'm trusting that it's being received in the level that holds the most resonance and the most juice for you at this time. The masculine within you has now come to a point where it realizes that it no longer needs to shut down the feminine messages that are coming through, because I feel like your feminine and your intuition and your body and everything has always presented you with a yes or a no, and it has come up. It's indwelling, it is natural, it like bubbles up like a bubble coming up through water. It's inevitable, it's going to rise, it's going to come up. And the masculine part of you that you have been leading your life from has always had this choice of whether to accept that yes and that no, or whether to not respect it. And I feel that in the past, when you have been trying to protect yourself, you have learned from others these malformed ways of self-protection, which have actually been detrimental to the feminine, as I mentioned before. And so the masculine aspect of self in its immature state has been trying to override the wisdom coming up from the feminine. This can be spoken again on so many different levels. We see this playing out in society. We see this, okay? And we also see this within as an individual, not even talking about relationships, you inside yourself, the relationship inside yourself that exists between your masculine and feminine energies. The masculine energy has been overbearing. It has been strict. It has been disciplined. It has been, I make the rules. It has been trying to force the feminine's answer to be different than what it is. And the feminine cannot shapeshift in that way. The feminine is like, her answer is the answer. That is the truth of your being. And so the masculine aspect has, instead of creating a vessel of like containment and protection for that truth and honored that truth and respected that truth, it has instead tried to make that truth be other than what it is. So you have had this internal battle, this internal struggle, where you have had the feeling of yes, and then also the feeling of that's not the right answer. The feeling of no, and the feeling of how do I make that no turn into a yes. You have been trying to like almost like gaslight yourself, gaslight your intuition, when it comes to like hearing yourself. And at the same time, this is so funny, it's at the same time you've also been on this journey of like, I want to tap into my intuition, and like I want to listen to myself more, and like I want to know like the things, and I want to like be knowledgeable and like have that power, and it's there within you already. But the masculine aspect of you cannot flipping understand or comprehend. Like ain't no way the masculine is a feminine. They're different energies. They work best when they are in their own, like when they're just not trying to do each other's jobs, basically. So like the masculine has now come to this point now, whoo, hallelujah, where you actually do have this burgeoning, awakening, blossoming. We're all at different levels here of awakening of the masculine aspect, where you finally now realize what it takes to be a mature masculine. And this, again, like I'm speaking of it in these sort of gender terms, but you know, like please use your discernment and like, you know, like fit the pieces in the way that they work for you. Okay, it doesn't matter about gender. Anyway, so there's like the mature masculine aspect, which now realizes that its job, like the role of the masculine in protecting, is actually to respect the yes that it receives, to respect the no that it receives. I mean, if you take that, if it makes no sense internally, if you project that out into a relationship between like a masculine and a feminine, if the masculine is sort of demanding something from the feminine and the feminine says no, and the masculine said that's not good enough, I'm going to take what I want anyway, like what kind of relationship do you think that's going to form? Like that is not supportive, that is not respectful. And a mature masculine will know that no means no, and like yes means yes, and like that's how these energies are sort of trying to work together within you as well. So it's like on like the obviously like extreme end, that's like quite a violent way of interacting between energies, where like the I won't take no for an answer kind of energy. And it's funny how in the immature state the masculine thinks that that is protection, that like I know better, like I'll order the food for you because I know better, or like you're saying no but like it's only because you don't know mentally what I mentally know. But like the mental sphere somehow like sometimes needs to take a back seat to the physical sphere, to the emotional sphere. And there is wisdom in the body that the mental cannot compute, and there is wisdom in the emotional that the mental cannot compute, and there is wisdom in the feminine that the masculine cannot compute, and vice versa. So either way, it's coming into flow, it's coming into balance. The story has a happy ending. Fear not. I'm feeling like quite dizzy. Hallelujah and praise be that the masculine has now learned that sometimes the job of the masculine is to sit the F down and shut the F up, okay? And like rewriting the story of what it means to protect, rewriting the story of what it means to be right or not to be right. And like there's a whole lot of ego learning that's going on here, and like softening the grip there. And I think the thing about this rising feminine aspect, I literally like I don't even know what I just said right now. Let me take a second. Thank you for your patience. Basically what it comes down to is that we don't need more discipline at this time. We don't need more mental energy at this time. We don't need more like masculine overlords at this time, internally, externally, socially, whatever. What we need is to embrace more of the feminine way. And like Virgo is such a feminine energy, you know? And this is the advice. It's stillness. It's come back to self. It's slow down. When the mind is clouded, that doesn't mean that we need to think harder, okay? It means we need to get out of the mind, get into the body, get into the emotions. There is possibly, what am I feeling? There's possibly things that need to come up. They need time. They need softness. they need patience. And I think that this is like another maturing arc for the masculine aspect within all of us, is learning patience, learning presence and patience through the chaotic feminine revelations that will come through. And I think because there has been such a suppression internally and like also socially of the feminine for such a time, it's coming through. It's going to come through sometimes in a more chaotic manner, and sometimes, you know, in a more like slow and reluctant manner, because this is almost like gaining the trust of like an animal that has been traumatized or abused. This is like the energy of you go at your pace and I will be here and I will be ready, and I support you through this whole thing, and sitting with yourself in this way. If you have been harsh with yourself, it's not about then being harsh with yourself because you were harsh with yourself. It's about accepting that the harsh aspects of you were coming from a place of trying to protect you, and accepting that part of you, loving that part of you, and also then allowing space for now the parts of you that have maybe not had enough, you have not given them enough credit, or they haven't had enough space to rise, they haven't had enough space to be heard. Now we're creating, the mental is coming into the background and the heart is coming forward. The feelings, also ancestral, that have been suppressed in the past are coming forward. Honor this process, honor this process. And we honor this process not just by like quitting our jobs and meditating for 8 hours a day, but through creating functional space and it's like little steps. Like you don't need to eat the elephant all at once. Again, Virgo energy, you're in this for the like long haul kind of thing. Like you're building a stable foundation. You're eating 3 meals a day. You're not trying to like become a bodybuilder or like go to the extreme of anything. This is about like really balanced and sustainable. Is that the correct word? Balanced, sustainable, and like maintainable steps that you can take in your everyday. Again, Mercurian energy, 6th house energy, everyday things that you can do every single day, small steps that you can take every single day that are going to lead you to the grandiosity that is what your heart is yearning for, that is what your octopus tentacles are reaching for, that is what your mind is lighting up for. There is a grand plan for you, and there is also a call for humility in honoring the mundane and in honoring the worldly, because mundane comes from like think of like the French word monde, which means like le monde, the world, you know. It comes from the same Latin, like the mondo or something. I don't know what the Latin root is, but it means worldly things. Mundane doesn't mean boring, it means of the world, worldly things. Can I breathe? 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 Oh my God. So, the beauty of this advice is just like, keep it simple, sweetheart. You know, keep it simple. There's no like, you don't have to think harder. You don't have to beat yourself harder. You need to, I even want to remove the word need. I want you to throw away the word need. It's just soft, flowing, easy, like eat nutrient dense foods, you know, like go and grab some salmon and some blueberries and some spinach and like, I don't know, quinoa. Like eat foods that nourish you deeply, and know that each of these like smaller actions are contributing to the whole. They are feeding and nourishing you, and they are also rewiring your nervous system to be able to like sustain you in like a way that is easy to maintain. These are going to become like, yeah, these are like the foundational things that are going to become second nature to you, so that when the energy expands, that you're able to like fall back on these daily practices as your they're just like your automatic, this is your new automatic mode. You're building the new, yeah, it's like you're building the new blueprint for your life, but not in a way that's like get up at 5 a.m. and like, you know, run 5 miles and like, you know what I mean? It's very sustainable, very realistic to you. Realistic is such a good word to use here. And like without any browbeating, without any like, I should be doing this, that, or the other. Don't should on yourself. Like, it's so soft and it's so embodied and it's so like, we're just moving away from the idea that that's not enough, that that's not good enough. We're like, you know, we're not doing the 12-step French skincare routine and like, you know, like whoop-de-doo, you know, like you can keep things simple. And sometimes that is, most times that is so much more effective than the most minutely planned, convoluted kind of like thing that you could think of, you know? So don't get bogged down in the details. Don't try and do too much. Like, if all you can do at this time is make sure that you drink enough water and that you eat something, like that is enough. Like, get some sleep, you know, like nap if you need to. This is not a time of like piling more things onto our plate. This is a time of like really, really paring it back and just knowing what are the things that actually like have, that actually add, that actually are like a like money in the bank, I heard, you know, like, yeah, it's like just feed yourself, feed your soul, and like leave space for whimsy as well. There's something here about like child energy, play, like confirmation, do like coloring in, you know, like you don't have to do a big 5 a.m. meditation every day. You could like just zone out and do your coloring. That could be your meditation, you know. There's no rules, you know, like this is your life and there are no rules. That's the message. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. I feel like the energy is like this big bubble. Wow. Thank you for spending time with me. This was a bigger message. It came with more energy than what I expected. I have a mouse in my house right now. I actually think it's over there. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Oh my god, no, it's the thing. It's breaking out of the bag. Please let the mouse not be in the bag. Okay, I'm gonna deal to this situation, which is unfolding. Thank you for spending time with me. Blessings be to all of you. I'm so grateful for you, and yeah, I'm so grateful for you. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And collective deep breath. I'll chat to you so shortly in our next message together.